Welcome to Barcart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're looking at A Desert Torn Asunder by Bradley Beaulieu. Desert Torn Asunder is the final book in Beaulieu's The Song of the Shattered Sands, a Arabian Nights-flavored desert epic fantasy, and a series that I think is one of the underrated gems of epic fantasy over the last decade. There are 6 books in all, and for those of you who like to wait until the final volume is available before starting book 1, you can do so now. Desert Torn Asunder is 6 of 6, and starting with 12 Kings in Sharakhai, you've got a real adventure ahead of you, full of battles across the sand and blood magic and duplicitous kings who conspire against their people and against themselves. It really has so much to offer in terms of magic and commentary, wonderful characters who want things and who are willing to do truly desperate things to get what they want, while still, in some cases, maintaining an ethos of the greater good and the goal of service to the community. So, here at the end of the series, I wanted to pay tribute to my favorite character, one of the 12 kings of Sharakhai, the desert city that is the sort of heart of the story. And that king is King Ihsan, the head of the diplomatic sort of wing of the Sharakhani state, the chief ambassador and diplomat for the 12 kings. He's a really delightful character, a bit oily, very charming. He has a magical power related to his tongue, granted to him by the desert gods. And so, in paying tribute to him, we have today's drink, the Honey-Tongued King. And without any further ado, why don't we get into making that? Our base spirit, what we'll start with today, is cognac. One of the bordering nations with Sharakhai is Kaimir, and they're known for producing brandy. So we've got our brandy here. This is a Duperat. It's an organic brandy. It doesn't do terribly well on its own, just to sip, but it's wonderful to mix in cocktails. And we're going to get 1.5 ounces of that in there. Good. Down into our mixing glass. And once we've got that, we'll get the first of our sweeteners, a homemade fig liqueur, dried figs. It's really rich and dark. It's going to get some of those sort of Near Eastern and deserty sorts of flavors in there. Just absolutely wonderful. One of my favorite liqueurs that I've made. And we'll get 3/4 of an ounce in there. Wonderful. And of course, you can't have a drink called the Honey-Tongued King without some honey syrup. So it's an equal ratio of honey to water. It makes it a little easier to pour and to stir. And again, we're going to get 3/4 of an ounce of that in there. And finally, we want to bring a bit of weight, a bit of spice. I've got the granddaddy of the bitters world, the one that you'll see called for by name the most often, Angostura. So, and aromatic bitters, lots of baking spice notes, cinnamon, clove, allspice. It's bringing a real depth of flavor to the cocktail. And we're going to get 1-2 dashes in there. As with always bitters, it's easy to add more, hard to add less, so you do want to start small. And with so many dynamic flavors in here, you don't want the bitters to dominate. We'll get our ice in last. It's especially important to get the ice in last when you're having a hot day and talking about the desert, because that ice will melt awfully quickly. And you want your dilution of the drink to be in your control rather than at the whim of forces beyond your control. Let's get one more cube in there. And we'll give that a stir. So, let's get that to dilute. These books have been such a delight since 12 Kings and Sharakhai came out. I've readily looked forward to them each time, and it's exciting and a little bittersweet to say goodbye to Sharakhai here. So we'll get that nice and chilled. Again, you're in the desert, you want your drink as cold as possible. So get a good stir on that. Lovely. And then, because we want our drink to stay cold, we're going to serve this what's called down with a large ice cube in our glass, just to keep it extra chilly, extra refreshing. And then we will strain with our julep strainer into there. Wonderful. Lovely. Golden rimmed, old-fashioned glass appropriate to a king. And so there you have it. The Honey-Tongued King, a tribute to King Ihsan, one of the principal characters in A Desert Torn Asunder by Bradley Beaulieu. The book is available now. I highly recommend it. If you haven't read the Song of the Shattered Sands yet, start with 12 Kings and Sharakhai. You won't regret it. Please remember to like and subscribe, share with your friends, try the drink, let me know what you think, and until next time, cheers.